Well, here we are. Little delay there for a couple of seconds. I didn't know what was going on, but that's me, not a clue. So listen, I have a question for Donald, man. It just seems that it's something we should ask him, and that's, hey Donnie, how's that peace commission coming along, huh? How you doing there? You making peace, man? What a friggin' asshole. I don't know, folks. It's just the way things are, I guess. We can't, we just have to deal with this schmuck. And I don't know how you're going to do it. Now he's got the CIA working to arm the Kurdish forces in Iran. And I'm not sure the Kurds want to go to war. Not yet, anyhow. They got everybody they want out of there already, so, why should they go to war? And you think they're going to be any better than the Iranian people? You're just smoking the same shit again. You know? Trump just starts problems everywhere, and I don't know what it is. I mean, he's thinking that's going to get, like, it's security for him because they don't usually replace presidents during troubling times. I mean, that's how FDR got 4 terms. So, I don't know. Say these U.S. stocks rise. That's that's people, playing games with the market. That's just what they do. That market's really not an indicator of anything anymore, other than the fact that a few people with money are getting very, very rich. Now we're in Ecuador. Okay. You still got drug boats and everything out there, and we went into Venezuela and we got their presidents in jail. What are we accomplishing around the world? What did we accomplish in Vietnam? We ended up surrendering Vietnam. That's what happened. That was a negotiated peace. If you watch the withdrawal, that was a surrender. And most of the troops that actually fought there thought the same thing. But Afghanistan was never completely winnable. Anytime you have to fight a war against people that could be standing next to you and you don't know who they are, and you get shot in the back of the head, or you shoot a young girl because you think she's carrying an IED. This is all, crap, folks. And we're not going to win over there. You're going to make the Kurds your friends? Listen, you know about Afghanistan? Do you know that we supplied military weapons to the rebel forces there? What the hell, man? I just had a mind fart. I had his name on the tip of my tongue and it disappeared. Well, you know who I'm talking about. He's dead now. But anyhow, when the violence stopped and the Russians left, Bin Laden, that's Bin Laden. Bin Laden says, now it's your turn to go. We don't want foreigners we fought this war to keep foreigners off our country. And you put bases here and you keep soldiers here and everything else, and you have people and men all over the Far East. We don't want that. And then he goes to war. Takes down the World Trade Center. He was able to get to it twice. Alright? So if you think that this is going to be an easy situation, and everything else, that's just a myth, you know. It's going to be a lot of trouble there. I don't know who you're going to put in there, and I doubt if it's going to work out just the way he wants it to. Uh, I don't think Iraq worked out the way he wanted it to, and you don't know who's working behind the scenes in Iraq to take it over still. Actually, Vietnam's a pretty nice place to visit and everything now after the Americans pulled out, you know. So I don't see I really don't see a big deal there happening, you know. So let's go look at what's going on with Trump now. He's a peace commission, right? All right, let's see. Venezuela's a mess. Nothing's being done. Not as far as I can tell, talking to the people I know from Venezuela here who still have family members back there, has anything truly changed. Now we're to Ecuador. Ecuador's always been a corridor for drugs, and the thing that I have to watch out for is that the remnants of the old FARC in Colombia operate in Ecuador. They use it as a safe haven. They go in and out of that country when they're playing games up there. So that's going to be a problem. And I don't see any quick solution there. And Iran is something that the deal is that Iran is like Iraq was when Bush went in there to destroy weapons of mass destruction. There weren't any weapons of mass destruction. And when we were in then we ended up in Afghanistan, and there was no way out. They went in there without a plan on how to get out. They went in there without a plan of what they wanted to accomplish and get out. Well, the Israelis' plan is to take over the country, and that's not going to happen peaceably. They're going to have to kill a whole lot of people, and Israel is going to lose a lot. It's just, I don't think that the rest of the countries in that area are going to allow them to occupy Iran. Just a thought here. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. I just don't see that happening, really. Because Israel and the United States have proven that they're no trustworthy, especially in negotiations. They have a tendency to do like Russia does, attack during negotiations. Iran was supposedly a day or a few hours away from a nuclear agreement when Trump decided to go ahead and attack, because they wouldn't kiss his ring. And because he knew because he knew he had them. But a clear-cut victory in these countries isn't something you see every day. You can see you can win. That they call what's referred to as a clear-cut victory is very seldom achieved by the United States in situations like this. I mean, you had MacArthur didn't want to negotiate with North Korea. He wanted to go into China. Now, I don't think we could have won that war, but we would have definitely wouldn't be a North and South Korea had he done that. But he didn't think it through either. And that's the problem. You look at a situation and say, we can win this. Let's go do it. And Trump's been told he can win this with no problems. And he's going to go do it. Okay, you won. Now what are you going to do? That's the problem with these morons going around starting these wars. When we started the American Revolution, we had not a real We didn't have a good military plan, but we had an idea of what we wanted to end the war. And we ended up winning the war, basically because England's supply lines were way too far away. And we had France, we had allies, and France was a traditional enemy of Great Britain, so that they were on our side. So we had that going for us. And we had an idea what we wanted. We had people writing the Constitution and everything. So we knew what we wanted. Our leaders knew what we wanted. Trump hasn't got a fucking clue what he wants, except to be a hero. He wants to give himself the Medal of Honor. Cowards don't get the Medal of Honor. End of the story. Okay? Draft dodgers do not get Medals of Honor. They don't deserve a Medal of Honor. You're sitting behind a desk telling people what to do does not get you a Medal of Honor. Alright? I'm not sure, but I don't think Eisenhower got one for World War II. I'll have to check it out. So why should Trump get one for a little, whatever? Oh, man. Bush didn't try to give himself a Medal of Honor for Iraq, for Desert Storm. It's just, greed and stupidity. He wants to look like he's something he's not. That's Donald's problem. He wants to look like this great leader of all phases of government and the world and whatnot. He wants to stand out and say, the world respects me. The world doesn't respect you. The world's worried about you, but there's no respect there because you've got a lot of shaky people around you. It's just like Hitler. The world wasn't really afraid of Hitler as much as they were the people surrounding him and what their ideas were and what he was listening to. And Trump isn't smart enough to come up with all this bullshit by himself, so you gotta think about it, and I don't know what we're gonna do over there. I don't know what we want to do over there. I don't know if there is anything we want to do over there. I don't know. Do you know? I don't know. But anyhow, prices are going up, oil prices are going up, everything's going up. Here's the thing about oil prices, okay? And this is every time there's a huge hike or an oil shortage or something like this, prices go up the next day. And then the pump prices go up the next day. And here's the deal. They still got the cheaper oil in the tanks, and they're selling it at a higher price, so the gas stations are making more money, the oil companies are making more money. And the consumer's losing money. It takes, I think, the last time I saw, close to a month to get the oil out of the ground, into the barrel, and then shipped to the United States. All right, at least 2 weeks. All right, let's just, for the sake of argument, let's just say 2 weeks. All right, minimum. Meantime, the prices haven't actually gone up on the oil that they're in their storage tanks and whatnot. The prices are going up on that oil, and that oil is the old oil at the old price. So they're making huge profits on that oil. The oil companies get what they've proven this. They get this windfall profits every time this happens. So they love wars like this. They're not worried about it. They set fire to the whole goddamn Arabian coast. They don't care. They're going to make money. They're not going to lose anything. This is what people don't understand. Big companies don't lose money unless it's stolen from them. But every time something like this happens, I keep a list of all the people I think that should be gone when this is all over, And it keeps growing because there's so many idiots out there. You know, and I'm not saying that you have to get rid of all of megas or anything like that, or that some of the ideas that they wanted to do in a minimalist way wouldn't be a bad idea, you know. But what they want to do and how they're doing it and how they're going about it is immoral, illegal, unconstitutional, whatever you want to call it. Uh, and you see where Hegseth is saying that we're going to fight the war whatever way we want. And he's basically saying we're not going to pay any attention to the Geneva Convention or anything else. So don't get mad when they start torturing American soldiers and they start killing when they kill American civilians. Don't get mad because we're doing. Texas says that's the way you're supposed to fight a war. You know, and I'm not sure if that's right or wrong. I'm not going to get involved. That's a whole different world. Anyhow, listen. Flip over to watch me live in a few minutes, okay? And I'll talk to you tomorrow. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button before you leave. All right. Take care, folks.